Visit AnsonPDR.com for the largest selection for just about all your PDR tools, where you'll find hog glue and hog tabs.
Don't forget to grab your Magnatech mat, available at most PDR tool distributors. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of PDR Tool Time. This is episode 231. I'm your host, Vince D'Alessandro, along with Daniel Grom, John Renstrom, and Hudson Davis.
Lies. Let's give you. We can give you a current. Let's see. Actually, Daniel's not here because he went to the dentist, and he's like, I can't come on the show because I can barely talk because I sound all slurred. And we were kind of.
Are you ready, guys? Are you ready?
Is it any different than any other time?
Yeah. We were like, well, Daniel, there's no difference. You already slur everything you say, so you can still come on the show. But we decided to go ahead and just give him the night off.
Yes, we gave Daniel the night off, but I still wanted to give him some love, at least, and mention him on the intro on accident. I did.
He never gets the night off.
He never does. So I'm so used to him being here, and he's not. So that's fine. And I think we should survive because we do have a special guest coming on in a couple minutes here, and it's all based off of the poll that Hudson put up on PDR Tool Time a couple weeks ago, and the number one hit that we got from people calling us and on the poll was to talk to new people that are just kind of fresh out of school or a year out of school or 2 years out of school, because all of us we've been pushing dents for many years now, and sometimes we forget what it's like to be a newbie in this industry, especially dealing with the trials and tribulations out there that are going on.
Yeah, let me go ahead and just read verbatim what was posted. It said, okay. Newbies coming out of training, but still in the dark and where to start. Wanting to jump in and swim, but not wanting to be a hack in black.
Wow.
Oh, man, that was poetic.
That was poetic. And I got to tell you, I think we nailed it with our guest that we're going to have on right now. And that's Mr. Chris Dale out of New York City. How's it going, Chris?
All right. Not bad. No complaints.
Thanks for joining us.
Long Island, not New York City.
Where are they?
Yeah, don't give him that. Don't do that to him.
New York State.
He's more distinguished than that.
New York State.
He's got more class.
I love the city. Don't get me wrong.
Well, where the hell are you?
I was watching. Sorry, there's a great documentary about New York City in the 70s and 80s right now on Netflix. Have you watched it yet?
Which one's that?
It's about the mob in New York City.
Oh yeah. I started watching that the other day.
What's it called?
I can't remember what it's called.
I don't know. Go to Netflix and look up New York mob crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's featured. It's like top 10 on Netflix right now, so you'll find it.
Yeah.
It's like
trending.
It'll be buzzkill right there. Fine. My internet's barely working, but I'll handle the YouTube link.
We're over here to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. We were comparing our internet download speeds, and of course, John
Mine's
is
the
in
only
the
thing
sticks.
slower than Daniel's speech.
Actually, John's is powered by the turkeys behind him. Every time they peck on the ground, they're hitting a grid and giving him the internet.
Keeping me going.
Yes.
Hilarious. It's so funny. This is where my mind goes. It is so hot out here in Texas right now. People are posting on how to keep their chickens cool. And they're putting corn inside of like muffin tins and then filling it with water and freezing them. So you have these little hockey puck size ice cubes with corn in them, so the chickens can like chip away at them and get corn, but cool themselves down.
It's cost a fortune. I had a friend with a chicken farm. He would spend $20,000 a month on a water bill.
On a water bill?
What?
Yeah. He would have swamp coolers going to keep the chickens instead of air conditioning. They use swamp coolers.
Yeah.
And that's how much water they would go through.
It's crazy. Well, anyways, Chris, you are the gentleman of the hour, so to speak. We wanted to touch base with you. I think, where did we first meet? I think it was probably when you were trained by Mike Toledo. And I think I came down and met you down there.
No, I didn't meet you there. I met you at, where did I meet you?
One of the mega medias then.
In Florida. Yeah, that was the second time. I met you in the first
MTE.
in Florida. Before I even got involved, I went down there and I bought some tools off you at Anson, but we didn't really meet. And then I think I met you that night, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
how about this, Chris? Give us a brief 5 minute. Just give us a brief 5 minutes of the whole genesis, or less, 5 minutes or less, genesis of how you started now to where you are now. So everyone listening has an idea of knowing kind of where you're coming from.
All right, I'll try to make it fast. I had a friend with a car that had a dent. I said, I think it's this thing called PDR. Watched some videos. I said, you got to stop getting your car painted. It's a nice car. Stop, I looked into it, started watching videos. I got hooked into videos, and I saw, anytime I say Mike, it's going to be Mike Toledo. I saw Mike's Mazda Miata video. I was like, holy shit,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the one that the one that all the scammers steal?
Yeah. And I said, wow, I got to look into this. Next thing you know, I'm addicted to watching videos. I sign up for Dent Trainer. I'm watching YouTube videos, watching all the training videos, thinking I could train myself. Then I started goofing around my own cars, friends' cars, and realized how much harder it was. And it's going to take me probably years with just online training. And, so I said, let me bump to the next level. I'll go down to Florida. I talked to a couple people, and I was really looking to go down there and talk to Mike. And I ran into him, talked to him about training. And then I got back, I set it up, and went there in June last year.
Okay, but really quick, what were you doing before this?
Oh, I'm still doing it. I'm a mechanic for MTA bus in the city.
Okay, so you're a mechanic. So you're already mechanically inclined. Like you work on engines when you say that. That's what you mean?
Yeah. Buses, transit buses. The buses in Manhattan.
Right.
Like that.
Okay, cool. And so now you got trained by Mike in June of last year. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah.
So hold on. So let me get this right. You're a union worker and an independent PDR contractor.
Correct.
That's the best of both worlds, right? So are you a Democrat or Republican? Yeah. Don't answer that. We're not getting that.
Don't answer. We're not going down that path.
Are you pro-union or anti-union?
I'm pro-union when I'm at work. If I own the business, I'm anti-union.
Right. So we don't have to worry about you being in Fear City.
No.
That's the name of the show on Netflix.
Oh, Fear City.
All right, now we're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I can close that screen.
Thank you.
Fear City. Yeah. That's the documentary on the mob in New York. Okay.
Yeah.
So June.
All right, June.
So I signed up for training.
Yeah.
That was all right. So the first week, your eyes are going crazy a little, and it was so much harder than I thought. That first Friday, I was ready to quit and go home. I was stressed out. I remember Mike saying he's over my shoulder. He wasn't over my shoulder, but he's watching, and he's like, hey, no frustration pushes. He saw me he must have knew I was getting angry. I'm pushing, sweating, just losing it. It's like, go outside, take a walk, I'd walk over to the gas station, get a drink, whatever, come back. And I just remember I went outside another time. I was just by the dumpster, just hanging out. I was staring up there, like, what did I get myself involved in, man? It's just too hard,
Yeah.
It was so stressful. Then we went to happy hours. Like, I'm taking you guys out. It was me and Mickey taking you out to happy hour. And then I just was like crumbling. I'm like, I spent all this money. This is too hard. And I went out with Matt Mayo, Get a Grip.
Yeah.
He took me out, and he had moonshine. I got smashed. I was just like,
not have moonshine.
It was just a rough day, and I was just really crumbling by the end of the night. And the next day I woke up, I was all right. And then Monday came, or Sunday, whatever, and right back into the loop. It was 1 month of training.
Yeah,
and it was hard. Let me tell you, man.
It is. I often say it's the hardest thing I've ever learned in my life. And
absolutely, the number
100%.
one trick. I had a body guy staring at me just a little while back. He's like, I'll watch you and know every trick. I'm like, you could spend all day watching me. You ain't ever learning the only trick that's important. And that is getting past what you just described.
Right.
You got to get past the I can't do this. Yeah. And most people fail.
Yeah.
No, I'm still not past that.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I had to walk away from the whole episode that we did last week talking about that stupid truck. Man, I walked away from that hood I was ready to shove a tool through it. You know, I'm 16 years, 30 years of doing auto body. I can't even tell you when I was a body man how many times I put a pick hammer through a panel and welded the hole shut. I don't get to do that anymore.
Hey, Chris, man, I'll tell you this just to encourage you. I'm 14 years in, and just yesterday there was a dent that I thought was only going to take me 2 hours to do. I'm like, oh, it's a 2-hour dent. Got there at 9. I didn't leave till 5. It was a 3-inch dent on a freaking body line. It was very, very deep. If I didn't have heat on it, the paint was already slightly fractured and everything. But the cool thing is by the end of it kicking my butt, I had to think creatively, and I actually came up with a new way of attacking that kind of dent in the future that'll completely speed up the repair process. Because
you're always trying to get faster.
Always trying to get faster and more efficient. That's the way we can make more money, right? We don't get quarterly reviews where some boss is like, "Oh, you did a great job. Here's a raise." No, it's like, how do I do this crap faster and more effectively?
That's funny. Jesse the other day boned up an estimate. He's repaired the car. He's like, "This sucks." I'm like, dude, you need to mark that down so when you have to do your quarterly review with that estimator, you can bring that up in the future.
So
I think it's important to know that, Chris, too, and all the new guys out there. It doesn't matter if you're a 1 day old or 15, 16, 25 years. I still have effed up dents 25 years into it.
Yeah.
And I recover from it a lot quicker than I did when I was a year into it. Like mentally, it's like, oh, well, okay, this is what I did wrong, and this is what I could do different next time. Or it's like, I'm never touching that friggin' car ever again. That dent.
Well, yeah, Vince, that actually brings up a very good point. And same with you, Hudson. We do learn tons more from each of our mistakes.
Yes.
And when we are driven to correct the mistakes that we make, we develop such a long-term plan to do it better and to avoid that mistake in the future. It's crazy.
I think also we've touched on this, speaking privately, of just kind of being around. I think that what you've said the quote before in terms of pricing at a storm, John, of like a rising tide raises all ships, right? And I think I apply that same thing around being around like-minded techs who are willing to push each other in our limits and in our like kind of our thought process. I think whenever we surround ourselves with people maybe that are a little bit more willing to settle, I'm like, I just want to be the guy that does like quarter nickel-sized dents and that's it.
Well, so Chris, then, do you find yourself looking at a dent going, I can't fix that, so I should probably bid it? You ever done?
No.
Have you done that yet?
I find myself. What do you mean, like overprice myself out of it, like the customer not?
No, like the dent
price?
is like, holy shit, I don't think I can do that thing. That's going to be all. You know what? I'm going to put a price on it and see if I can get it anyway.
Right. My thing is, I feel like I got to take every lead I get, and I think it gets me in trouble because number one, I'll underestimate how long it takes. I'm like, 3 hours to be out of here. Next thing you know, it's 5 hours. It's 10 o'clock at night. I got to come back the next day.
Right.
I'm like, what was I thinking? And that's happened way too many times.
Yeah. And as you can tell, that never ends.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, but is it worth it?
Yeah. I mean, the experience is worth it. It's always worth it. I either learn something and for me, it's really not about the money.
Yeah.
But I feel like an idiot when I,
Yeah.
Well, and that's
price everything.
Look, Hudson, like what you just said, what we're saying, I think that's why I wanted to have Chris on here, because Chris has, when I first met him, I thought he was like a technician that was around for a long time, years. He's going to these.
Agreed. Same here.
Mobile Tech Expo. He's going to dent trainers, members or conventions, mega media events and stuff. I'm like, okay, this guy. Usually people that are in PDR less than a year are not fully emerged like you've been. So, like Hudson said, sticking around, people that are doing it right to begin with. I think that's a definitely kudos to you for doing that, because if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, right?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
by surrounding yourselves with like-minded people that are doing like-minded work and stuff like that, you're eventually bound to get better. Hopefully,
I'm in a lot of wrong rooms, man, because I'm pretty brilliant.
Shocking that you would say that.
Well, the easy way to meet PDR guys is go to the bar, the convention.
Right?
Look for Hooters.
Yeah.
So,
Look for big
Chris,
egos.
We're on here to hear from you and your thing, but I also I'm hoping to encourage you because just like what Ben said, like whenever I met you, I thought you'd been around for a while, but also see that story you just had, you thought it'd last 3 hours and it goes on 5 hours. You're having to come back the next day. That's going to happen a lot. Guys that are listening, that's going to happen a lot in the beginning. But what's going to happen is the space in between when it happens is going to get wider and wider and wider and wider. So instead of it being a weekly occurrence, it'll become eventually a monthly or bi-monthly. It's going to spread out. But still, Vince is 25 years. I'm 14 years in. And like I said, just this week, I had a dent that I was like, that'll take 2 hours. And it took me like 7 or 8.
It's some of that damage that you still get into that kicks your butt so hard you drive home with the radio off.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Actually, radio off and noise canceling headphones in. So you're forced to deal with yourself. No. So Chris,
I got no AC in my work van and a shitty radio. So it's always a rough ride home.
Oh man. So Chris, let's do this. So you get trained, you come back. You're obviously still a mechanic to this day.
Yeah.
So what are you doing mainly then? How are you getting your dent work in?
As soon as I come home, I either go on the job or if I have something lined up at my house, in my garage at home, or usually almost always mobile though.
Okay. Do you have a website? How are people finding you?
Oh yeah, through Google. I was advertising on Facebook. I found it to be a huge waste. Just slowly taking it was cheap, but slowly taking my money. I didn't get any. I got just tire kickers, but maybe that's just in my region. I don't do anything with Yelp. I don't trust Yelp. They seem to be the advertising mafia. So it's pretty much just Google. I like Google, and I have the website from Toledo and Hiley. I have their website. I got it when it first came out, and I had really good luck with it. I like it. Get a couple leads a day, and I don't advertise. I don't pay any money to advertise, and I get a couple leads a day, and go from there.
Now you're completely not on Yelp. Not even a listing.
No, I don't even. I looked last week. Just hopefully, nobody put me on there. I just heard too many nightmare stories about it.
I don't know, man.
There's nothing wrong with being on Yelp. It's advertising with Yelp.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know for myself, we get 30% of our leads from Yelp, and I haven't paid a dime in years. And I know it's a regional thing, and you could get frustrated with the fact that they take your what do you call it, your reviews down and whatnot. But I don't think my company would have survived without Yelp.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. I get lots of calls from Yelp.
5 to 6 years, yeah.
I get lots of calls from Yelp, but I don't push any of my reviews to Yelp because I have 6 recommended and I think 50 some odd unrecommended reviews for my business. And literally they changed their algorithm one day and I used to have 50 reviews and overnight they recommended 40 some odd reviews overnight just by changing their algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing about Yelp that isn't fun. But you still, I think it is a necessary evil.
Yeah.
If you want to get, people are going to Yelp you.
All right, Chris, you might be new to PDR, but I'm taking notes as you guys are talking about all this stuff. So Yelp blows, but could be necessary. Let me get that, because as a hail guy, my phone just rings and I go to work. So I don't have any of that. I haven't set up retail in God only knows how long. This is very fascinating. You're just doing it with Google, and you've kind of kicked everything else off right now. You're working nights and weekends basically to do dents.
Yeah, I answer my phone or whatever text at 6 a.m. and 9 at night. I think that's probably why I get most of my jobs. I'm probably the first guy to answer. I've had a lot of clients say, nobody answered me. You were the first one to answer, the only one.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So,
all right.
I try to get back within minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was always a main thing with me is answer the phone, and if do not answer the phone, I had quick replies set up like, hey, I can't answer the phone right now, I'll call you right back, or text me a picture of the damage. That way there's some type of contact with them. Otherwise they just go to the next person on the list on Yelp or on Google.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so you want to capture them right away.
Here's how I would a little bit of advice to answer some of the question that came from the poll, like what should you do? You're wanting to jump in. Here's what I've done for my business that I have seen decent results in. I don't advertise. I'm not an advertising guy. This is so for my area. All I've done is I maximize all free outlets. So I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I have my website. The only thing I pay for is my website. Yelp is free. Anything I can be listed on for free, I'm going to put my stuff out there and always have a link to my website. So there's enough links where people will show up. So, excuse me. So, Chris, if you're a new guy and you're looking to get into the retail market, you need to be maximizing all listings possible. Okay. So maximize all free stuff. I don't advertise, and I have I would call it successful because I'm able to pay all my bills and provide for my family, and my wife can stay home and raise my kids. For me, that's success. So, and all I do is maximize all free outlets to post my business info.
Yeah. See, the only thing I'm worried about is if you're going to Yelp, it might take you down, actually. I keep hearing stories of people not paying to advertise, and they pull their 5-star reviews and only leave their 2s and 3s.
Are you guys seeing that?
No. I'm on my page right now. I have 247 reviews, and
you were in California.
Yeah, but I got a
Yelp
ton. I got a ton. I got 48 reviews that have been pulled that are not recommended. And only 2 of those were me. Like when Yelp first came out, I reviewed myself. The rest, the rest were legit. So I think it's just a numbers game. Eventually, it starts to move up and down. I did advertise with Yelp like 8 years ago when it first came out, and it actually pulled my numbers down. I was getting less calls than I did when I didn't advertise for them. And really, the best way I found to deal with Yelp is just tell them, I'm super busy, I don't need to advertise, and they stop calling you. And what they'll do is, like, Yelp, their algorithm for their salesmen is every 3 months they rotate. So every 3 months you'll get a call from Yelp, and you tell them, I'm super busy, I'm booked 2 weeks in advance, thanks for the call. And just be polite to them. Don't be dicks to them or anything. And you won't get another call for another 3 months. So that's how I always dealt with Yelp. I have a ton of reviews. I've never asked for reviews. I've always kept in the spirit of Yelp and never asked for reviews up until lately in the last few months. Once Mobile Tech RX came out with their quick replies and stuff like that, at the end I do send a thing. Hey, thanks for working on letting us choosing us to work on your vehicle, and if you can, just click on Yelp or Google and leave a review.
Yeah.
So to highlight, don't be a dick. Got it.
Right.
Well, I don't know. He's in New York. That might get him points with his reviewers.
Nah, no way.
I'm just joking. Okay, so let's get back to it. So far, guys, if you're a newbie and you're doing it, maximize all free listings available. Even if you don't like Yelp, maximize it. Vince?
And you could set it up. You could set it up so they have to call you, that they can't leave you a message on Yelp. You know what I mean? That's one of my frustrations with Yelp, was when it was another avenue for customers to contact me. I'm like, this sucks. Just disable that. So they have to call the number that's on there. So the customer has to call you. They're not going to mess around with texting you or emailing you and stuff like that. The notifications would drive you nuts all day long.
Exactly. I just rebuilt my website and I got rid of an email form. I don't want someone emailing me because it gets lost. I just send it directly to my phone. right?
Now, do you guys, when you're talking that direct, sending it to your phone, do you preference call versus text?
I prefer text.
I prefer text. However, I will seal more deals by talking to them in person or face to face. Once they came to the shop, they're mine. My freaking retention rate is awesome.
Yeah.
Chris, how are you doing it? Are you doing text or phone calls?
I'd say 90%, 98% text, 1 or 2 phone calls in a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, yeah, I'm the same way. If I get them on the phone, I can usually explain things, but I've been burned a couple of times where I explain how much things were going to cost and all that kind of fun stuff. And then I get to the thing and like, oh, I thought you said it was only 200. Why are you charging me 350? I'm like, I believe I said, and then I'm like, you know what? Like, if that's what you heard.
Yeah.
But with a text, it's there, it's written. I have all my saved replies because John, you got on to me a couple years ago during the podcast of like, why do you not have things saved? You know, the shortcuts. So I have all my little shortcuts where if I just type in the word base, BASE, and then boom, it auto populates like all the stuff I want to say. And then I got other words that do it. Anyways, Chris, what are you doing to not be a hack, but be a good, solid, quality dent guy just starting out?
Yeah.
I put in so many more hours in because I have to, because I'm not clean like I want to be, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
and is your goal to eventually provide for your family with just dent removal instead of being a mechanic?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I retire in a couple of years with a pension and stuff, but.
Oh, really? So you'll be retired. How old are you, Chris?
Just turned 47.
Dang, you look good.
Hey, now he's the same age as myself and John. Relax.
I mean, yeah, but he didn't have all those baggy eye things that you got.
No, that's because I'm like cross country all the time right now. I don't know what time zone I'm in half the time.
There, see? I'm younger.
John's covering his beard full of white hair.
I'll take Vince's head of hair, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Chris is missing his hair drastically.
He lost it somewhere.
I'm not missing my hair. I just rather have yours.
So you're pushing yourself extra hard, trying to make sure that you're good. You got a couple of years to retirement, and then now do you want to try to ramp it up then a little bit more, only a little bit, or are you looking for a 40-hour a week job to turn this into?
Yeah, 40-hour week or more, whatever. But I never realized, like, this seems to be one of the, like, an impossible business to scale up. You know, my friend opened a propane company and he's doing great. He just hires a driver to hand out propane tanks. You can't do that with this job.
Yeah.
I don't know how you scale this job up to find someone you could trust. Maybe you train him. Do you find anyone? I don't know.
I'll tell you what, I've trained impossible. 3 guys.
It's
really
tough. It's tough. Yeah.
Hudson.
Sorry.
Hudson Tansy. Yeah, I've trained 3 guys, man. I've trained 3 guys. Well, technically 4.
And how many are working
guys.
for you now?
Do what?
How many still work for you?
0.
Right. It's
0.
Well, you train your competition, right?
Well, none of them became my competitors. You know, they're good dudes like that. But yeah, there's been, you know, I not wasted because it was still valuable because you learn a lot when training someone. But I spent a good year it's an apprenticeship. You're going to work underneath me. I'm going to pay you weekly while you're learning, and then you're going to work for me for a while. And then I'm going to take a percentage. That's how I do it.
So you paid him though?
Yes.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. I am not the norm. I am a little bit, I've been told I'm way too generous along with my percentages and then paying people.
Clearly,
yada, but
none of them are still around.
None of them are still around. So I'm doing something wrong, man, because I've spent a good 3 to 4 years training people and I have nothing to show for it. So
that's got to be stressful.
So what I'm doing now is just maximizing my business the best I can with just myself for the time being.
Yeah.
And that's why you see me buying a new van. That's why you see me getting a new cart. That's why, like, why do you have so many tools? Well, you know what? I want every tool available on that cart to get me into every situation. So I don't have to walk back to my stinking van
Right.
efficiency.
But like,
That's how I make more money.
If you look at Matt Moore is a good example of how he scaled his business. Matt, I remember when Matt was calling me, asking me, "Oh man, I'm afraid of buying, a shop or getting a shop and this and that and blah blah blah." And look at him, man. He's killing it. He's got guys working for him. He's fair. He's honest. He's got guys that trust him, and it's good. It's just a matter. It's a mindset. I don't have the winning formula for that either. I do know that now that I've sold my business, the guy that I've been working with for the last 18 months, he's now doing the dents at my old shop that I just sold. So, and I paid him 60% of everything he did. And I also did advanced training with him and made him better technician because he was just a wholesale guy that was able to do wholesale work only and not do that last 10% to make retail happen most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. So,
all right. So,
yeah.
Sorry, Vince. Chris, you're about to, how many years until retirement? 3, 4?
7.
7? Okay.
Yeah.
You got 7 years. So 7 years to hone your skills. And then what are you going to do? You're going to try wholesale, retail, service drives, body shops?
Oh, retail. I want nothing to do with wholesale.
Now, here's the deal. Even though if you feel like you can't glass a dent, are you still going to charge? Are you still charging good prices and things like that?
Oh, no. Well, I always quote it at the Paul Corden. I always quote it off that, and then to get the job, and then I'll discount it from there.
Yeah.
I didn't glass it, which is, it's rare that I glass it, but look, the customers they're ecstatic a lot of times when I see imperfections and this and that, and it's stressful,
So here's some more advice to go along with that. I think exactly what you said is very similar. Vince, you let me know if I'm right or wrong on this. The way you can, the part of the question is they want to jump in and swim, but they don't want to be a hack and black. Use the Paul Corden price guide. Price the dents the way they're supposed to be priced. If you get there and you don't do it to what you feel is okay, it's always going to look good on you. Like, you know what? Like, this one just got away from me. I tried my hardest. For some reason, I just can't get it. I can't get it perfect. I'm going to discount it $50 for you. And the customer's always happy. Because look, let's just be honest, guys. Our 80% to a lot of customers is their 100%.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yep.
You should still, like I said, a rising tide, rising tide raises all ships. What's the proper verbiage there? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, rising tide lifts all boats.
Lifts all boats. Thank you.
You're right there, and part of that is going back to even last week's discussion. When you bid it out the way that you're doing it, Chris, you're not bidding it to rush through that job because you got to get to the next one because you need a volume of cars. You're doing it for the right dollar amount. You've given it 100%. Now, what you're saying is sometimes I can only get 90%, even though I gave it 100%. But your bid to be able to spend that time and to get to that level. If you cut that bid down 30%, the only thing that you're thinking about is I got to go get another job to do after this one.
Right.
And, bid it right. You have the time to work on it. And if it doesn't turn out 100%, then work that discounts in that final invoice.
Exactly.
And I know what could really help you dramatically get that last 10% out quicker or learn better. And that is to switch to fog. Get rid of that line board.
I knew that was going to come up.
Look, if you can fix dents with lines, cool. Because Mike does a damn good job at it. All right. But my main complaint about using lines versus using fog is lines, you're reading the lines, and fog, you're reading the metal.
Yeah.
I want to read metal, not lines.
Oh, wait. All right. Now I remember. Vince, now I remember where I met you the first time. It was that house party in Colorado.
Oh. Really?
House party?
Oh,
after that one night, we went to some house party. I don't know who's
Mega Media at...
Coal Foxes?
No, it wasn't at Cole's house. Oh, you put me on the spot.
Oh,
dang it.
John
He's
was
listening
there, wasn't
to.
Nice people, nice house. He had the big truck out front with the all stickered up. But that's where I met you, and I asked about lines, and you were ripping me up, saying you're just fixing lines, not the dent.
Hey, I'll tell you this. Okay, so here's
Tore me up.
more advice for some newbies here.
Crap.
What, Vince?
I'm trying to think where that was now, because was it during the IMI class?
No, I mean,
No.
it was Mega Media, homie.
Greeley,
We went and
Colorado.
had pulled pork.
Oh, that's
Yes.
LeBlanc.
After
Cody.
Yeah, Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe LeBlanc.
Yeah, and Crystal.
Crystal
His
was
wife,
there,
Crystal.
yeah.
All right. So here's some more advice. Here's the deal: is I have a lot of competitors in my area. We all respect each other, and we all we'll refer people to each other. If I can't get to a job and I know I can't get to it in the time the customer wants, I can trust someone. I've had a couple of competitors pop up in the past couple of years that are not charging the right prices. And they're also not, their repairs aren't up to snuff. I'll tell you this. There's a guy who's a competitor in my area who he came right out of the gate, Jason with Dent Lion. Even though he knew his repairs weren't 100% yet, he was still charging the right prices. And guess what? I knew that as he was trained by Mike Toledo, I knew he was trained well. I knew he was going to get there eventually. Me and Jason have a great relationship. We refer customers to each other all the time. And the fact that he was pricing things the right way made me happy to send customers there whenever I couldn't take care of them, and vice versa. But there's two guys in my area who are not charging appropriately, and I would love more than anything for them to fail. I hate saying that, but because they're charging $50 to fix a dent. I'm sorry. I don't want you in my market.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone in my area advertising that they're going to fix your dent for $50 freaking dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Even if you can't fix it, advertise it appropriately, fix it for the right price. If you can't fix it yet, then I don't, so
that's
the
a good
best
point.
way to make an enemy when you're starting out is to charge cheap prices.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point, because there's plenty of hacks out there that, they don't do a good job and they charge.
But that's a problem in the auto body world as a whole. Everybody thinks that price is the only thing that can sell. And quite honestly, I've stolen a lot of jobs being the highest price guy onto it. I have a very simple philosophy when it comes to fixing cars. I have a set amount of money I want to make at the end of the year. And I would like to do that in 20 cars if possible. So there's my goal. I don't charge enough. Right now, I'm the hack monkey who's got undercharging.
All right.
So I should be able to make my yearly income in 20 cars. So I've really got to get a lot smarter with my pricing.
That's funny.
So
Well,
That's fantastic.
that is fantastic. Now, Chris, I hope you'll be able to let us contact you once in a while and get you back on the podcast, because we do want to track your progress a little bit. And if you have things that you want to ask us or whatever, we'll get you back on, even if it's for a quick 5-10 minutes. Get the four of us on.
Awesome. Sure. Anytime.
I noticed before we went on the air here and started recording, and before these two gentlemen got on, you have something in your garage that I would never expect out of a 1-year technician.
Why?
Because even a 15-year
they're the
technician
hardest thing to fix.
doesn't want to do it, and that's motorcycle PDR. You have a tank vise.
Yes.
Hudson he's probably fixed 2 tanks in his life because they suck. And here you are.
Yeah.
Whoa, I'm going to defend myself here. All
Okay,
right.
3.
Okay. Can I defend myself?
No.
Okay.
Try.
Go ahead.
Only reason why I don't do motorcycle PDR is because up until now, I've never had a tank vise. I don't have a thing to put on into the ground, and mounting a tank is the part of the biggest problem of fixing a dent on a motorcycle, right?
Hold on. Let me interject on that, because I fixed motorcycles, tanks on bikes for 15 years before I ever got a friggin' tank vise.
Yeah, and it probably sucked, didn't it?
It sucked, but I still did
And
it.
the amount of time you wasted trying to fix it in a stupid tank, you probably could have done 3 cars in that time.
But I think Chris can attest to this. Mounting a tank to the tank vise is a pain in the ass.
Y'all aren't selling it really well right now.
That's a whole other skill. I spent 2 hours trying to mount that thing.
Right.
And as the thing shows up, I'm like, great, I got a giant erector set and a
crappy instructions.
Go to Motorcycle PDR Facebook page and see if you can find a photo of how to put it together.
Yeah, well, Daniel's here right now, not right here right now, so we could grill him a little bit. That bastard, how many times have you seen on the internet, how do you put this damn thing together? These instructions suck. And his only response is, yeah. Who freaking make a video?
I called him. He's in the middle of poker night.
Yeah.
That's what he did for me. I called him in the middle of poker night, and he's like, dude, just go to the Moto PDR page and look around. I'm like, those are our instructions?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I got my stuff mounted. I bought for those of you thinking about it, buy angle iron pieces, extra 5/16 ready rod. That just have it handy.
Threaded, all thread. Buy some all thread.
Yep. But,
Stephen Hamby's been making waves in the Moto PDR world, and he's been doing some crazy stuff, and he's incredibly impressive. He's a good friend of mine. I love him to death.
Yeah.
And what he gets for some of these tanks, I can understand why people do get into Moto PDR.
It's not so much about the money for me, though. It's the challenge.
Exactly.
After
I got enough challenges on cars, Vince.
That, and you got 3 kids under 5 and all that blah, blah, blah stuff.
My customers weenied out, man. My last one, guy was hit by a car, crushed tank. I'm like, come on, 2K.
Yeah.
2K. Yeah, it was the same price as a whole nother motorcycle, let alone just replacing the tank off of eBay for $75.
Yeah.
But I would have done it for 2K. I'd like to get a hold of that tank when it's damaged. Now, I just got me a Yamaha V-Star tank to hammer some dents in and play with.
I don't know how you're going to get in on that.
My last one was that got dropped off to me was a Yamaha TT500, all aluminum.
Oh,
the old TT, huh?
Yeah.
With zero access except for everything around the filler neck. I sent Mr. Hamby a quick photo of it. I'm like, dude, you ever done one of these? And he's like, no. I sent Daniel a photo. I'm like, dude, you ever done one of these? He's like, run. Don't even walk away from that tank. He's like, put it on a slingshot and get it as far away from yourself as you can.
Oh, man.
See, and that's the thing with Daniel. Daniel is just given like one word answers. No. Is there a way, run? Same with erector set, Do you have any better instructions? No. Sorry.
But I have all my conventional PDR. This is a polished aluminum tank. I was actually going to weld aluminum studs on it and see if I could pull them and polish and PDR. But the guy didn't want to pay my bill. So
yeah.
No lesson time for John on that number.
Yeah. What are you saying, Chris?
I got a more than a one-word answer from him once. I friend requested him, and I swear to God, I heard the reply in his voice, and he's just like, sorry, I don't accept friend request from people who don't have any information on their Facebook page. And that's it.
Who is that?
And I heard it in his Daniel Grom. Oh. And I heard it in his voice when I read it.
I have a rule. I have a rule that I won't accept a friend request from someone unless I've shaken your hand or had a conversation with you face to face. And I'll post a video on PDR Tool Time, and one will catch on, and a lot of people will view it, and I will get like off that one video, I'll get like 5 or 10 requests, and I'm like, man, I'm sorry, you don't want to be friends with me. All you're going to get is pictures of my kids.
But you guys don't understand. You're internet celebrities to us, You are. I was nervous to talk to some of you guys. I met you,
Come on, man. We're freaking dent guys, just like everyone else.
I've met thousands of dent guys, and my problem is they're all like, dude, do you remember me? And it's like, I'll remember a voice. I'll remember a face, but when I get a phone call or something on the internet, it's like, come on, have a picture. Oh, John is screwed.
Or I'll have a customer who will be like, yeah, I'm the one with the, the 2018 Escalade. I'm like, I've seen like 4 of those in the past. So, but yeah. So let's see, just to recap, price accordingly. And if you're doing retail, price accordingly. And if you feel you don't fix it 100%, feel free to give a discount and the customer will be happy with it. Right. Yeah. And if they aren't, then you know what, you learn something and move forward, do it for free, move on, do it better the next time.
And advertise everywhere you can, possibly for free.
Yes.
And the last thing here.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Chris, do you ever network with other local PDR guys?
Yes, I was going to bring that up. Mike told me, get in touch with these guys. There's some nice guys in your area. And I was, no way, no effing way, I'm not doing it. And then when I was in Florida, I was at the Stanliner event. I ran into one guy in my area, and we started talking. And he's the greatest guy. And I'll tell you, that was one of the best things I did was we text every day. If I get a job, I text him, hey, I quoted this at that. So he knows to keep the job the same price. And we text constantly. He's a great guy. Yeah. And then just today, another guy reached out to me who, the first guy was Harry from Flatiron in Queens, and the other guy was Maggie Winicky. And these guys, and I'm telling you, that makes things a lot easier knowing they're not competition. They're actually friends. And and you can get, I need to borrow a tool, or how do I do this? Do I have access to that?
At the end of the day, how many cars are in New York, in your area? There might be competition, but come on.
Oh man. Yeah. And and the thing is like I had a direct competitor. Crazy thing is there was this one dent. We had a pocket hailstorm hit our area, and there was this one dent that I was wigging out about. I'm like, man, I haven't come across a deep shot like this. So I called up this guy and I was like, hey man, if you're in the area, can you just come by and give me your thoughts on this? Do I need to kick this hood or do I fix it? And like he shows up. He's my competitor. This is a car he very well could have gotten. He looks and he goes, oh no. And he grabs the tool off my cart and like, boop, 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 pops it out. And I'm like, holy crap. And all it needed was like an R4. It was just so deep. And he just took an R4 with a cherry cap and he just muscled that thing out and it looked great. And I'm like, wow. And that one act there, once I saw him do that, the confidence I had to fix things just like that went through the roof. Once I saw what was possible, it was insane how much more I was willing to do after that. And he was my competitor, but we worked together. We refer to each other. So that's just reiterating the point I made earlier, just don't come in. And if I was a hack coming in charging low prices, I can assure you he would not want to help me.
Yeah. And this is all part of our whole series of, how do we make PDR better and all that good stuff that we've been talking about the last few years, being professional. And there's nothing wrong. Body shops talk to other body shops. Different industries talk, to competitors. It's for years it was always, oh man, you can't talk to those guys, and now it's almost mandatory that you have to talk to your you don't have to talk to it, but you're definitely going to have an easier time with things that you come across in dent removal or business relationships or business ideas by networking. Networking is, in my mind, so crucial in this industry.
Yep.
And how fun are the dead meetups? They're a blast.
Oh, they're freaking awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So as we wrap up this show, guys, we talked a lot about, I guess more of what we talked about is you coming into the industry as a retail tech. So I think what we'll probably try to do in a future episode is try to get someone who's coming into the business as a wholesale tech, or coming into the business as a new hail tech. But this was definitely a little more retail heavy. So for you guys who are coming into the business and you're trying to go the wholesale route, we'll definitely try to get someone on that can help us out with that.
For sure.
But if you're trying to get into the retail, I feel like there's some good sound advice. And Chris, I really appreciate you coming on and
no problem. Anytime, man.
Giving us your experience. And it's really cool to see, how you're both Democrat and Republican in your job.
No, I'm Republican. I'm Republican.
Just like twist the screw.
Yeah.
Going full circle there for a second.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Awesome to come on, Chris. Great to talk with you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, Chris,
Appreciate it.
we'll catch you again, and thanks once again. So,
No problem. Anytime.
well, we don't have Daniel to start this off, so hey, John, what the hell do you have to say?
Don't do stupid stuff.
Embrace the crazy.
And keep it stiff.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the industry and tool-related news every week.
Mobile Tech RX, the app that helps you make more money.
Don't forget to grab your Magnatech mat, available at most PDR tool distributors.